This is Purge bringing you guys a awesome match from the GosuLeague. It's going to be mouz versus GL, and I'm here with LD. How are you doing, man?
How long I've waited to hear that intro and be part of the casting team.
That's the first time I think that you've officially been part of the Purge Gamers cast.
Hello, everybody. This is LD, and I can't do it. But
that's pretty close.
Yeah,
that's pretty close.
It's good to be here. We have mouse sports who are playing under the tag of Absolite Gaming. Not sure what's going on with that. Last time I cast them for GosuLeague, I think it was for Playday 1. It was Bambo plus 4 stand-ins, but they do have a couple of their players who are rostered now. Black as well as Alex are playing for them. Although, is Black still on the team? I mean, I know he's sort of bouncing around, playing for a lot of different teams, but I know at least Alex and Bambo are supposed to be officially rostered for this lineup. And then you have Leaf and Armen, who've been playing most recently before this for Ubalest, before that for Panzer, so they're all over the place lately with the roster.
Yeah, Leaf and Armen, I believe, have been playing very heavily, actually since the start of the beta. A little bit before that as well. They had a Dota 1 team that was doing decently well. Then they shifted that over to a Dota 2 team, and they eventually disbanded when they dropped Panzer. And I guess they're trying to get back into a team, because right now they're playing for the mouse sports lineup. And we're not really sure where roster things are going. Everything's really chaotic right now, guys, just because you have to look at it this way. It looks like there's a lot of teams disbanding and reforming, but you have to realize that all of the dysfunctional teams have been not disbanding for 6 months because they're trying to get to the international. So once that's over, they can say, okay, fine. The big tournament's gone. We can finally shift our rosters to where we want them to be.
Yeah, and Mouse was definitely a team that had roster issues going into the event. They weren't practicing as much as they wanted to. There's sort of internal disagreements with the players at the event. I heard some rumblings about not everyone being really satisfied, and they actually did pretty well, I got to say, for a team which had so many of those issues.
Yeah,
they looked really good in that series you cast of them going up against World Elite on the play-in game. But it's a team. It was one of the teams that I think we all expected to see at least making some changes. Honestly, surprised that they haven't completely disbanded, just because it seemed like they were one of the teams where they just might be at that point. But we're really plowing through this draft. Both teams are not wasting any time. And for mouse sports, they're going to something we've seen a lot of them lately. It's going to be Black's anti-mage. And I think RMN has been playing solo mid for them. At least he did the last time I cast them. So I assume he'll be handling the TA. Very strong laning heroes. Very elusive lineup for mouse sports so far.
I do like the Leshrac plus Rubik at the moment. Not to mention Nature's Prophet on top of that gives them tons of pushing power. And that's one of the ways to beat a hard carry that you don't want to deal with is you just end the game so that you don't actually have to play against them anymore. One pick that I'm very curious about is actually a Lycan first round ban. Have you seen any team draft the hero yet? I heard that he got drafted once, but I haven't seen him in action, whether in a pub game or anything. I mean, people are just not touching him right now, in my experience.
I saw him get played. I actually cast a Pinoy Dota 1 game just after the 6.75 patch. And he got picked, but in Pinoy Dota, there's always 2 tri-lanes and then 2 very strong solo heroes. And so Lycan was in the tri-lane. And let me just tell you, he is not a strong tri-lane hero by any means, especially after the changes. The wolves just die instantly, no mobility skills, or even the damage isn't that great until he gets the wolves and the R's leveled up, and the R leveled up. So I think he has a place, but he really has to be your safe lane farmer, and his presence in the lane is just not that strong. What you can do is run him in the lane and then rotate him over to the jungle. So it's not that he's not a viable pick. He's just not very versatile, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of teams reluctant to pick him up. Plus, if our hero gets smacked that hard by the nerf bat, a lot of teams just be like, Ice Frog doesn't want us to pick this hero. This hero seems a lot weaker, and even if maybe it could fit into some lineups, it's just it's not something they really want to mess with. But I guess in this case, Gamers League just doesn't want to deal with Lycan. Some teams, there's just certain heroes they don't want to play against, and they pick up an Undying and a Bat Rider.
Wow.
Oh, man. 6.75. I am excited for this.
Yeah, it's so cool to see the metagame shift. And if you guys haven't been following Dota very long, this happens constantly. And by constantly, I mean a couple times a year. And it really does make things awesome because as you look at it, there's a lot of heroes that are shifted in that wouldn't be drafted before. And mostly that's Undying and Bat Rider. Now, Undying, I don't believe, got any buffs or nerfs at all. He was exactly the same as the previous version. But Bat Rider, I've seen Bat Rider like 4 times in the last week, something like that. It has really been a lot of matches out of Bat Rider so far. So pretty cool to see Bat Rider drafted. I assume he'll be a solo mid, and against TA, he's pretty good actually, because he does do damage over time with Firefly. He will at least threaten Templar Assassin's life a little bit.
It's actually, I would say it's one of the few heroes that can actually beat TA in lane. Mid lane, it's a little bit tougher, even with the but Batrider got a ton of buffs this patch. The strength gain for me is probably the biggest one, but even things like the turn rate, Firefly last stamp you died, I mean, all those little things, as it looks like we are going to have a remake here, that just make him stronger in the lane. And I think really his biggest issue is he's a hero that has to be in the middle of the fight, or has been in the past, that he has to be in the middle of the fight, but he's not actually tanky enough to do so. But with the strength gain changes, he really is. You know, like you mentioned, the damage over time shuts down TA quite hard. And even in the mid game, you can just jump in, isolate her immediately, and just having that lasso to work with, not only against her, but also against a hero like Anti-Mage. I think this hero is, it's sort of like a Storm Spirit, except his laning presence is just much stronger. In terms of a hero that can just isolate, lock down, and pick off these mobile but relatively squishy heroes.
Yeah, and that's how he was drafted a lot. Maybe 6 months, a year ago, something like that. Batrider was a common pick, and he was used just to shut down BKB targets. And like you said, that's great against Anti-Mage, because it's a 3-second disable at level 1, I believe, scales up to 4 seconds, and that is exactly what you need to shut down somebody who can blink. And his animation is decreased a little bit, but either way, great ganking hero for those things. Plus his strength gain now is insane. You got an extra 0.7 per level, which gives him a lot of HP every time he levels up. So that's like an extra 10 HP at least, which is will add up pretty significantly. So
yeah, you know, the other hero I really want to talk about is the Undying, because this hero, I'm looking at this lineup, I think we could see an Undying tri-lane and a solo Batrider on Prophet. We could see them maybe run an off-lane Prophet and, you know, a defensive tri-lane, but they definitely have options with the picks. But Undying is a hero that is just very strong against these low strength heroes. Even someone like Anti-Mage really can't lane against Undying. You just use Decay a single time, and that's almost a quarter of his HP pool. Even at level 1, it's, what is it, 4 strength at level 1? It really adds up. And I like this pick a lot, because you talked about taking towers early, ending the game before these heroes can farm, and you know, this hero gives you another way to sort of shut them down. Just don't even let AM approach the creep wave in the early game, and you know, sure, he might be able to catch up later on, but that's only if the other lanes have a decent time of it. So I kind of like that pick as well. It fits in with what they want to do with the Batrider, these early aggressive heroes, and it's a novel way to do it, but it's also, in a way, is sort of the traditional approach to deal with AM, the way the teams have done it for another hard carries, the way the teams have done it for a long time.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Black actually changing his name to Sanjin Yasha. We'll see. Maybe we'll pick one up. It's so cheap now. Like, man, I look at Shadowblade and Sanjin Yasha now, and I'm like, but it's better than it used to be. Surely it'll be at least slightly good, but man.
Oh, I've been doing Shadowblade on everybody. I mean,
I've had the same desires. I'm like, oh, I have a Bash hero. I should get Shadowblade. 30 attack speed. This will be good, you know.
I've actually, you know who I've been running it a lot on, and I think it's kind of legitimate on him, is Juggernaut, especially with the way his ult was buffed, and you can Blade Fury and then Shadowblade and sort of chase people that way, as well as escape if you need to.
I think that's not bad.
Thing is, the attack speed is just, the buff to the attack speed is actually quite significant.
Yeah.
And especially for Jug, because his base attack time got lowered, so he benefits more from attack speed items. It's the reason why Anti-Mage just scales so well, is because his base attack time is so low. And well, Alchemist on paper does with his ult up, but
yeah, well, that's an extreme attack speed situation. That is a cool point, though. Most of the attack speed being awesome. If you think about it, there's really not that many items that increase your attack speed, and there's plenty of items that increase damage. So it's kind of nice to have something that does a balance that isn't just a straight agility item that can be used on a lot of heroes. That's one thing that I kind of like about it. All right, let's go over the players quick. For the rating team, this is team stand-in over here. Geez, 3 stand-ins plus GL. All right, so it's GL. We have Faylet's on the Batrider. Demise is going to be playing Nature's Prophet. We have Mig is going to be playing Undying. We have MC Hammer on the Leshrac. And finally, I Love Vost is going to be playing Rubik.
Wow, they are going to do the offensive tri-lane. I am excited for this one. Meanwhile, over on the side of Mouse Sports, or should we call them Ubalest or Panzer, we have Alex playing the Shadow Shaman, headed towards the top lane. Sentry Ward's already picked up, and having control of this jungle, to me, this probably isn't about pulling. They should be expecting the offensive tri-lane just based on the hero picks. It's more about, if you can keep that offensive tri-lane in the dark, you're really going to limit what they can do. Leaf going solo mid is the TA, so not going to be Alex, or Armen rather, which I thought it might be. Dota 2, I believe, is Armen playing the Enchantress. Bambo on the Windrunner, and Black, well, we didn't really have to introduce him, because of course he's going to be playing the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, no surprise there at all. One of the best European anti-mages in the game. Very, very good at farming, and he does a great job. Looks like he's shifting to the bot lane, actually. He is expecting to be up against a solo Prophet, I guess, and that's not too bad for an anti-mage, honestly. He will take some damage from the Treants, but he already has a poor man's shield, and he got extra tangos pooled to him, so he has virtually no chance of dying to this Nature's Prophet unless he tries to get a kill at tower or something like that, which we won't see. So I'm sure Black is going to do great on this bot lane.
Right, I mean, starting with the poor man shield, so important against a hero like Prophet, whose attack animation, his base damage, actually quite good, especially for an intelligence hero. And the range, of course, being very solid as well, 600 on him. So I think AM can win this lane, and you're right, they are predicting the lanes correctly. So they expect to see the offensive tri-lane. That's why we see the Sentry Wards. That's why Windrunner is going to be up there. The big concern is going to be the Shadow Shaman. He's very squishy, very easily picked off, below average base movement speed, very low armor. The HP pool is not great. As well as perhaps the Enchantress, if they can't find kills in the lane on the Shadow Shaman, they could roam into the jungle and try and pick her off. And if you don't get the Wisps off or they're on cooldown, you're a pretty easy kill as well. So I expect most of the action will be on the top lane over in the jungle. So far they have the wards up, but let's see if they can keep it from getting dewarded. Alex is definitely want to get his grubby little paws on those as soon as possible.
Yeah, at least one of these ward spots is a little harder to find. This one right by the large pull camp is going to be tough to deward possibly. Though they may be able to guess it. Bambo already taking some damage. He's going to get stunned. Actually, will we say telekinesis? Is he going to get lifted off? He may end up getting picked off. We need a decay. It's actually a soul rip by Undyne, and he picks off the kill. Really, really fast first blood here, and all started off by a gamble out of MC Hammer, and he landed the split earth. That was great.
Yeah, when you run an offensive tri-lane, you really need kills. And, well, you don't expect to get one on a Windrunner at level 1. And Leshrac does a lot more damage once he hits 2. Even Rubik level 1 Fade Bolt is quite decent. The Tombstone, Decay, all good spells. And it's interesting he opted for Soul Rip at level 1. It does give you, I feel, a little bit more burst damage, and perhaps that was the goal. Also allowed you to tower dive a little bit more. Whereas Decay is more for sort of that lane sustain and just constantly getting ahead of your opponents doing more damage. But a first blood in this lane is going to make life a lot easier for them. Already 500 gold on the Undyne. In fact, he's diving. He drops the Tombstone. The zombie's on parade, but Bambo is going to win run away. But look at how they're being zoned out of the tower. And Purge, this tower is already below half health. We're 1.5 minutes in.
So it must have been an edict, surely. I mean, how else could that tower take so much damage? It's going to be dropped really rapidly, though. I mean, that's the power of Tombstone. You put it down, and it just scares the opponents. They can't fight in that AoE. They do have some cooldown on it, 36, and the tower's going to go down to about 250 HP. But I don't think this is going to last very long. Though Enchant does show up with the Satyr Hellcaller to harass. We're going to miss a kill mid lane, though. Batrider picks up a kill on Templar Assassin, and that's exactly the scary thing about Batrider. He's able to dive you so early. He was level 4 already by getting the kill. TA only level 3. So I'm sure there were a bunch of stacks, and then he went for it. He got the EXP, TA did not, so probably a good trade there for Batrider.
That's the buffs to Batrider coming into play. He lived there with about 50 HP, and then he finally died to the tower aggro. Backstab on the top lane, though. Here comes that Enchantress looking to set things up. Perfect chain's done. Power shot. The right clicks just enough to bring him down, but now the Edict bouncing through an Enchantress. Does not have the heal up, not choosing to use it at the moment. There you go, finally pops it off. Will it be a time? No. Not going to. Actually, sorry, that was the enchant. Did not use the heal there. Bambo, Wind running away, trying to escape, salving up as well. Gotta live through this one. The Centaur being microed pretty effectively. Standing power shot kills him off. And now it's the Undyne running for his life. 3-3 is the score. And that Enchantress gank, the tri-lane had a good start, but giving up a couple kills like this really going to make life easier for Mouse.
Yeah, there's still no decay on Undyne, and I'm starting to wonder if this is a mistake here, because, I mean, after he casts Tombstone, he's on cooldown for 60 seconds, and then he's got a soul rip every 25, which is massive, massive cooldowns. And if you are up against a tri-lane, you can decay against multiple heroes and do tons of damage. So, I don't know, he doesn't really seem like he's having as much contribution other than the Tombstone, which, I mean, obviously Tombstone is fantastic and help them get at least one kill, but I think this is hurting them a little bit.
He's normally a hero where you get at least 1 point in every ability. They're all quite strong at level 1, and they all also scale well. So it's you could see any ability being maxed. I think you can make a legitimate argument for pretty much every single one of them. But I agree with you. To not even get a single point is looking to be a mistake. And normally Decay is the one, if anything, you get first in the lane, just because stealing that much strength this early on, it's a heal, it gives you a ton of damage. Or effectively it's a heal, I should say. And the Tombstone gets dropped again. They just want the tower. Edix is going to clean it up. A tier 1 claimed at 4 minutes. Very early tier 1. Anti-Mage still farming okay in the bottom lane, 11-2. It looks like he did have to use a decent amount of his regen. In fact, I think he ferried some more salves to himself. So the Prophet overall is doing a pretty solid job in this lane. Forcing AM to buy a lot of salves early means he's not rushing the rate of health. And we all know Black loves to get his Battlefield online as quickly as possible. Enchantress looking to come in again. Split Earth will connect on Alex, already level 5. In a pseudo tri-lane, Bambo dropping low to the Decay. He will go down. And now they wrap around. They want to get I Love Pavos, and I think he's gonna not die.
Maybe. It's those Centaurs are fast, man. And yeah, he's going to get killed by one right click by Alex. He might be the next to fall, though. Mink's going to have another decay. There's the Hex for just a second here. He's going to need one decay and one hit, I think. He actually uses a Soul Rip instead. No, I'm sorry. I don't know what that animation was at all. There's a TP out as well as TA comes to gank the top lane. No slow though, but Mig just now getting boots. He is actually pretty slowed by the enchant. A couple more right clicks. Leaf actually misclicking just slightly. Puts down a tombstone, which is going to maybe keep him alive. Couple more big hits though. One more and he goes down. He's trying to juke. He's got 1,600 gold and I think Leaf is going to be able to catch him. No, the zombies are slowing enough and he gets out just barely. Nice escape from Mig. That was insane.
Oh, those zombies. You know, like when the chase starts, zombies are very deceptive because it's only one hitting you at first, but all of a sudden you start chasing, the fight goes on for 5 or 6 seconds, and there's just an army of them wailing at you. That was only 2, but it was enough to slow them down. If there's a bigger fight, you might have 5, 6 zombies on you, and you're lucky even to be able to move. It really feels like playing in quicksand up against them, and I cannot believe he lived there, but hell,
yeah.
He does it. And now, what does he buy? Completed Magic Wand. Not going for any real big items just yet, but maybe something like Arcane Boots just to help sustain the tri-lane, keep them playing aggressively. I'm a little concerned though. Leshrac level 3, Rubik level 3, these are pretty level dependent supports, and they're not getting much right now. Middle lane, TA taking a lot of damage from the Batrider. The lasso, 4 stacks, this should be a kill, but who's gonna die first? Just kidding, it will be Leaf. Oh man. Batrider just crushing TA, and you know, I feel this hero is up there, if not stronger than Venomancer dealing with third lane. Just such a powerful counter.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman gets the kill on Nature's Prophet on the bot lane. That was with help from Anti-Mage there. But yeah, you're totally right. Batrider is actually very great against TA, and it's not just because of the multiple damage sources that kill the shield, but also because you can actually last hit your own creeps. And one thing TA does very well is you pop Refraction, and then you just deny everything. But since Batrider can also buff his damage from Sticky Napalm, he can get comparable or greater last hit power on his own creep. So it works out very nicely.
I'm completely with you there, and for the moment, the pressure continues top. Dive onto mid, Batrider trying to escape, he will be able to TP out, Prophet ult just... sorry, that was on the Radiant side. No, nothing to look at here. And now the Edict onto the tower, the Glyph gets forced. I believe this is the first Glyph of the game, actually, for the Dire. Bambo running for his life. Zoned out by the zombies, now Decay as well. Undying really not going for the kill, just trying to zone him out of the lane. But without a creep wave, they should be forced back. In fact, Enchantress level 5. TA only 6, but the one thing about TA, she's quite a comeback artist, really not that item dependent, and here she goes on the top lane, looking to dive in towards the Undying. Trap number 1 gets dropped. Where's that meld auto attack? There you go. Only the level 1 meld, not doing too much. The Split Earth connects, and look at the decay, keeping them alive, keeping them fresh. If you had the Tombstone, they could probably turn and look to get some kills, but without it, they will be forced back. Power Shot is going to connect again. Split Earth slowing down Leaf. Just so annoying to try and catch him out. And there are 2 heroes. Jackal from Bambo. It's only level 2, but it might be enough. Turns around for 1 more decay. Catches 2 with that. God, he's so tanky, but just not tanky enough. And now the tri-lane in shambles. There's another meld auto attack. This should be at least 2 kills. Maybe 3. There's 1 more trap. There's a magic wand. They're going to dive all the way for this. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it looks like Anti-Mage managed to get the tower. And there's Shadow Shaman cleaning up that 3rd kill. The entire tri-lane killed off. Where was Batrider in that fight? He had a TP. I'm not sure if it's on cooldown. Undying rejoins the fight. The zombie going on to Bambo. Not going to be enough. The chase now goes the other way, and it's probably going to be a couple of kills. I think. No demise. Oh my god. Alex just sniping him with the nuke there, and Leaf turns around again, just back and forth. I feel like a ping pong ball at this point, and we're not done yet. Or are we? The Prophet ult. Leaf is going to drop down, and now finally Enchantress might go as well. Split Earth canceled. Split Earth is going to hit through the tree line. What a beautiful Split Earth from Leshrac. Finally, Batrider shows up to the fight and says, hey guys, I heard you called for the Batman.
And he's got 1,400 gold, so he's getting very close to a Blink Taker. But what? God, that was a crazy team fight. Started by tier 2 Dire side, and then just back and forth as we saw buybacks. Very surprising to see Nature's Prophet get killed, actually. Despite his TPN. Now he's going back to the bot lane. He's got phase boots picked up. Very, very good boot choice if you're actually trying to harass somebody with a poor man's shield, because the plus 24 damage does offset the damage block. If it wasn't for this, if he goes for something like Treads instead, then he's not going to be able to do as much damage or pierce through that shield quite as well. And look at that. He's actually outlast hitting Anti-Mage sometimes now. I really like this phase boot choice. He is TPing to the top lane, so I guess they want to push this. He does have 3 levels of Nature's Call. Ulti's up in 35 seconds, and now Undying is level 6, so he's got his ulti as well as the Tombstone. We'll probably see the Tombstone popped in case there is going to be some contest coming from the Dire team. Leaf is still here, but all he has is Phase Boots Wand, and Windrunner's only level 6, so tower gets taken very, very easily, and a big tower advantage now for the Radiant team.
You know, one concern for this Dire squad as far as their team composition goes is that they don't have much to shut down pushes. Shadow Shaman's Ether Shock pretty short range, although it is good at killing off creeps. And then more importantly, the wards have a very long cooldown. Aside from that, you can throw a couple Enchantress creeps into the way, but until you get items, the Smoke Gang comes in though, and Leaf is looking to be dead. Edict is going to hit him. Even with that cast animation that got added, doesn't matter. Easy kill. Batrider's Firefly, when he uses it, plus Edict, TA I feel is going to have a really tough time in these fights, especially when they're playing 4 or 5-man Dota. AM is continuing to farm bottom. Black has 500 gold in the bank. He's gone back for the Magic Wand, which is a nice item against all these casters, but will further delay what is looking to be a very late Battle Fury, if he even goes for it. I'm not sure he has the time to, honestly. Once this Radiant squad gets a mech, which Demise is probably going to go for next, I assume he will anyway, I'm not sure what they could do to really stop this push. If you bait out the Shadow Shaman wards, and they're going to be dropped bottom, here comes the push, Shackle on 2, but that's only delaying this, and this tower's going to fall as well, so that's now 4 towers down in only 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to make it very hard to teamfight for them. I mean, once you lose the first couple and you can't contest anymore, then they have easy times taking the next couple towers, especially if you look at their heroes. They don't really have that many great teamfight heroes. They're really relying on a hero like Shadow Shaman to do a lot of their teamfight, whereas the Radiant team has heroes like Undying. Even Batrider can be very, very serious, especially now that he has his Blink Dagger. He can pull at least one person out of position and just do a ton of magic damage within the teamfight. So that's something that mouz is going to have to constantly be concerned about here.
10-minute Blink Dagger, and you know, he's died how many times? Just once, but you know, even died once can slow you down quite a bit, but his farm is pretty good. More importantly, it's all the tower kills they're getting. Nobody's really farming outstandingly in this game. In fact, 11 minutes in, Black only sitting at 47 CS, so it's just not a game where there's been much farming. And now that the Blink's online, look at him already up to almost over 1100 health, not far off of 1200, and he doesn't really have any strength items. This Blink Dagger, I feel, is going to be big problems. mouz are going to have to try and bait out some good fights. If they get caught, they'd snowball very quickly against a hero like Batrider.
Yeah, I like how he's using Flame Break to harass and heal or last hit a little bit. It's really working out, keeping him a little safe. He still has a DD as well. And now 3 heroes mid as they want to push and maybe try to take a tower. They actually don't have Shadow Shaman wards. They use those on the tier 2 bot. The Radiant team is sitting with 3 players bottom, so are they going to be able to take this away from him? Phaelats is slowed. There's the mini stun as well as the Hex. Couple right clicks. There's the Shackle. They're taking AoE damage, but it is not going to be enough HP. And they have to actually run out of Firefly because it stays after he dies now. Very slight buff to Batrider there. That is going to do some nice damage to these guys.
Man, Leaf and Alex dropping Leaf dropping well below half health. Alex was down around half, and then he did use the Magic Wand to heal up there. And that's just the Firefly. I mean, the Prophet ult came through, did a little bit of damage, I think, to at least 1 or 2 of them. They are going for the trades. I like the fact that they're trying to just get these pickoffs, though. That's really what their lineup is built around. The smaller scale engagements for now, and then when you get the items up, especially on the AM, maybe a Blink Dagger on the Shadow Shaman, the 4-staff for the mech on Bambo, which all these items are way off, but until then, they really can't team fight, so it's good to go for these trades. Nice play, good decision making, and I would love to see Batrider just roaming around with a couple of heroes on his team, and sort of just, you know, use the advantage, use the fact that you have better team fight, that you have more effective heroes at this stage of the game, and push that advantage a little more.
Yeah, Leaf saving a Tango here in the mid lane in case Nature's Prophet ganks him. Bambo's trying to distract or at least slow down the bot push, but Tombstone was just dropped, so he's not going to be able to stop this at all. Edict on cooldown for 10 seconds. It's actually Leshrac going for the mechanism, surprisingly. Not the hero you normally see it, but actually if you think about it, if he doesn't have his ulti, he's not that out of mana, generally. It's just spamming Split Earth as well as Edict, you will actually have mana, assuming you're full, to afford the mech. So kind of a cool little pickup, and the HP and the armor are going to be great as well on a hero that is generally pretty squishy.
They're actually building 2 mechs because Demise has both components as well. So a little miscommunication here. You know, you did mention multiple stand-ins, and this is the sort of thing we see happening. But one of them can transition into a pipe, I suppose. The thing is, they don't really need a pipe. So some wasted gold, not the end of the world. But hopefully they'll sort of buckle down because this lineup, if you give mouz too many openings, they have heroes that really snowball that are hard to fight in 1v1. So you definitely want to be in a position where you can just keep on pushing 4 or 5 and maintain your advantage that way.
Yeah, that's definitely what they need to do, I agree. Enchantress continuing her jungle. Treads is actually her choice. And she has 1,300 gold, so taking some time to spend some gold here, but see what she decides on. Kind of surprised she has so much saved up, though. If we look at Antimage, he's got 1 assist and 71 last hits now. He's doing a decent job on the top lane. He went for Treads, Poor Man's Shield with a Ring of Fell, so it does look like he will go Battle Fury. Oh, they get a courier kill. Phaelats blinking into that one. Nice pick up there, going after Alex. Alex has to run. Going to have 2 stacks coming up here, and still a little bit of Firefly, but he's actually going to retreat. A little worried as the Radiant team is now pushing bottom. He's going to meet up with this team again. They can just take the tier 2 tower, and that's good enough advantage for them. So this is the last outer tower in 13 minutes, and now I feel you can transition into Roshan. You should have at least one of your mechs up, or just keep on pushing. I'm guessing they just want to force TPs back, but with the Tombstone, you can really fight under the enemy tower, especially with Batrider having the blink. If they get 1 or 2 picks, this might mean Rex. There's no glyph. At least maybe force buybacks. It's weird to check buybacks this early, but I think we should do so now. And I'm not sure if the Dire actually have any.
TA might have one. Shackle on 2. Profitable bounces through. And now the tower under siege. Look at the tombstone blinking for Batrider. TA is going to die. Alex as well. Split Earth catches 2. No, Alex lives. Bambo lives. Black blinks away, barely surviving the urns. The auto attacks from Leshrac might be enough. I think I will be a kill. Shackle into again. Oh man, the Radiant overextending there. Bambo turning this fight around. The tower is alive, and all in all, Purge, I gotta say, that went pretty well. In fact, they might get more kills. Leshrac is gonna fall down. 3 for 1, not a good trade. Everybody barely living. In fact, 4 for 1.
Wow.
The last kill is picked up by Bambo. That is a disaster this early on.
That was such a clutch hold from mouz. That was so important that they won that team fight. I mean, there just wasn't enough tank. They were fighting past the racks a little bit, and most importantly, Undyne actually got picked off pretty easily. He was sitting really low the entire time. That's as a result of his item choices, which were mostly towards having a lot of mana. And then that huge shackle from Bambo that allowed them to grab the 2 kills, and that started everything off. Once Undyne is dead, that's pretty much it for their push, because they had to back out. And did Anti-Mage buy back?
Yeah, they did force an AM buyback.
Okay. But even still, he did get a kill, I believe, at the end, or at least an assist at least. Getting some assists out of it is not the end of the world. And this will get them closer and closer towards Battle Fury, because that's where they need to get. They need to get the Anti-Mage farmed. So if they can delay this game, they will be able to pull it out late game. So that's what they got to do.
Oh, Bambo gets caught. Wind running away. Force Staff already used. He grabs the DD, but we see another Miracle 2 here. Shackled. No, not going to be able to find 2. Somehow catches MLG. I don't know how he does it, but the Firefly, he is going to drop. And, you know, in spite of kind of a failed push, he still needs the Battle Fury, like he said. And all that really does is allow them to stall the game more effectively. It's not going to win them the fights. So they still need that next layer of items. And I feel even a couple of more slip-ups here for mouz. And in spite of Gamers League not playing perfectly, their lineup is just so strong right now that they might be able to just bulldoze their way down mid.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to
try to do so now.
And if they can take a Rax right now, that's massive. 15-minute Rax, yeah, I think that's going to be pretty good. Does delay or reduces the amount of farm that you get for the rest of the game, so that's exactly what they need to pick up here. Main tower gets taken out, Edict as well, doing the damage. Leaf's going to show up. He does have a Blink Dagger, so at the very least they could burst down maybe some of these squishy heroes. I'm looking at you, Rubik. He has Wind Run right now, though, which is going to keep him pretty survivable against those possible TA jumps. He's going to put the trap down, sets it off immediately, and they're just kind of delaying here. Black's going to actually TP back, so I guess they're getting ready to fight. Black picking up mana first. There's the Tombstone. Ulti as well from Undyne. There's the Decay. Right clicks, and they're going to pick off somebody right at the start. That was Shadow Shaman, not even able to drop his wards. He buys back immediately. Bambo has the DD saved up, by the way. He's going to power shot the wave, doing some big hits. There's a Shackle on 2 heroes, Demise as well as Mig. He goes in, Anti-Mage does an ulti, right-clicking on I Love Havos, and I Love Havos goes down before he even gets the Wind Run off. Slight mistake from him there, blinking, and they're still fighting Nature's Prophet, and they're going to hold it again. I can't believe it.
This time they got a tower, but... Imagine if mouz had heroes that could fight effectively at this point. Dear God. They're holding with an Enchantress, a Templar Assassin, and an Anti-Mage, none of whom have any significant items. I mean, TA just got the Blink Dagger, but that doesn't really help you in these 5v5 fights. You jump in, and then you're still taking a ton of damage. And now they're even going for Roche. I feel mouz, if they make it... If guys talking about how the Gamers League squad, if they have 1 or 2 good fights, they can just Rax. But at the same time, mouz win 1 or 2. They have the heroes that can really get out of control, and it's going to be an Aegis. I feel like maybe you give this one to Leaf, but we'll probably see them give it to Black.
Oh, he's going to try to sneak this Aegis. He's looking for the blink, and here he comes from the high ground. No, he does not go in. Oh, wow, TA Splash actually was interrupting his Blink Dagger there accidentally. That is really, really unlucky for Batrider. And now he's got to be worried about dying here. He will be able to blink, and he's going to blink away. So he's still a little surrounded, but I'm sorry, he's just being chased. He's got 10-second cooldown actually on blink, but at this point, the backup will be on the way, and they're actually going to use smoke to get there a little faster. Have you seen this new smoke animation, by the way? It looks pretty cool.
No, I haven't seen it. I'll have to keep my eye on it.
Take a look in bottom Radiant Jungle right now. MC Hammer as well as Havos have it on. It's like this little... It actually looks like they're smoked now. They have smoke on them. It's cool.
Yeah, instead of just sort of being like foggy and confused.
Invisible, kind of.
Ethereal.
Yeah,
I like
it's
it.
pretty sweet. Enchantress close to her Aghanim Scepter as well, by the way. So that's what you spend your money on. We'll do about 300 gold and she'll have to finish, and that's even more carry potential, by the way. She's going to get caught maybe by Mig. He puts a Tombstone down to put 2 zombies tops. Actually, only 1 zombie on the Enchantress. Very, very meager, slow, 14%. But Nature's Prophet comes in. Power Shot's actually going to get out immediately. I think she got really lucky with that Power Shot. I don't think he was playing on that at all.
It's Bambo. He'll tell you he was, but you never really know. There's a Necro book up on the Undying. You know, dropping the Tombstone like that, I think it works out okay here, but you really, to me, it's very much like Shadow Shaman wards, where you really want to drop the Tombstone when you're pushing a tower. You don't want to get caught wasting it on a hero kill, because even if they get that kill, it's not enough to just guarantee they can go into the high ground. The Glyph is up again, But I think we have at least one here with buyback on the Dire side. No, actually nobody has it, so if they lose here, buyback also on cooldown for Shadow Shaman. This is probably going to be 1, maybe 2 lanes of Rex. Remember the bottom lane took a bunch of damage, and here comes the big army of creeps. Leshrac in the front lines, not sure he should be. The wards get dropped. Are they going to lose this to the minions? The glyph is forced out, and this is tough at this point to defend against this push.
Now they're going to hold it at least, but the Serpent wards go down, so the Radiant team's going to wait till those time out and then push on in again, because those are a serious source of their damage at the moment. That is shutting down some of their heroes. But Enchantress has her Aghanim Scepter. Black has taken a tower on the top lane while they were busy, and he may try to pressure the next. He's got 3k in the bank, which is going to be buyback if he does die, and he TP's back now because they know the push is coming in soon.
Rider.
Oh, Batrider gets
caught
picked.
out by a beautiful shackle. Leaf blinks into that, and now everyone's in a headlong retreat. Black probably won't have to buy back. In fact, I think he's going to buy that next item soon. Bambo thrown back towards the wards. The wards were stolen by Rubik on the low ground, but it doesn't seem to matter. Or does it? This is an angry Undying, and they're not able to kill him off just yet. Sprout up in place, holding anti-mage there, but surviving for the moment. Shackle not really going to connect at all. Demise trap gets dropped for him. Leaf slowly being mauled by these minions, trying to TP out, not going to get it, and now finally, it's basically Undying on his own. Batrider's coming in, but he's too late. That's Black with 3.8k gold. The Rex miraculously still alive.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. If those wards had been dropped on the high ground, they get the Rex there, no question.
Yeah, especially when everybody was really disoriented or busy fighting during that team fight. That was really nice plays from mouz. Again, that's their 3rd hold now. And I mean, if you would have asked us 5 minutes ago if it looked like mouz was going to come back, I would have said no. Like, it did not look very good for them. Actually, Batrider goes in mid, wants to grab a kill on Enchantress, pulling her through the fire, but she's going to put her heal on and walk away from that one. Not a big deal, but pretty amazing that they have been able to hold this 3 times in a row, just especially with the Rex getting that low in the mid lane, and it's going to start regenning, so if they can just keep that defended, it's as if nothing happened in the early game.
Yeah, you know, and in fact, because they're behind on towers right now, it's kind of this built-in comeback mechanic where your team's been farming creeps, and the creeps, once you miss farming them, it's a missed opportunity, you don't get it back, but the towers sit there. So mousesports can really catch up in terms of gold if they get a few towers. Batrider's invis, scouting things out for the team, and now we're going to see Leaf in a decent amount of trouble, but remember, he does have Aegis Shackle as well. Rubik is going to drop, and now Batrider charging in, focusing on Leaf. Don't think they should be focusing. Demise is going to drop as well. The heal not enough. Tombstone not being dropped yet. The Aegis is going to go down. Another Shackle from Bambo, out of his mind. Mech gets popped. Leaf comes back to life. They get rid of the Aegis, and the wards are now dropped, so maybe not a bad trade in the end. 2 for an Aegis. I'm not sure it's worth it, but at this point, Gamers League, it is starting to feel a little desperate, and in fact, MLG, Shackle, barely missing there.
Mega is slowed though. There's the 4-step forward and the Hex and the blink from Leaf. The right click grabs the Undying kill, so that's 3 heroes dead now for the ward drop and the Aegis. Not worth it anymore, 100%. And they're going to be able to push on towards the tier 2. Glyph was actually used because Black has taken the top tower, so not only may they take mid, but they're also going to take top from Black. Black's going to cut the creep wave as well with his Battle Fury, and this is now where Anti-Mage becomes very, very tough to deal with. They're going to counter push mid a bit. Alex gets very, very low. A smoke is actually used as well. I believe that was spotted by Tower, but the chase is coming. Oh, it's actually going to stop Shadow Shaman. He actually canceled his TP. I think he would have been fine, though. And the top tower goes down, so another big advantage going to mouz as we look at the gold graph. And wow, look at that. Up and down, and now a massive mouz advantage.
Yeah, and also the experience graph. And normally you don't want to read too much into the experience, as it does have diminishing returns, but that kind of a swing, I mean, look at the level discrepancy right now. AM is level 16, even that Enchantress is 14, and with the Aghanim Scepter, you pretty much, the supports at this point, the Radiant supports are the squishy ones, and Double Mech is really not helping that, as they don't stack up too well, but Prophet with the Necro 2, they just want to try and brute force things mid, and at this point, I don't really think you have another choice. Yeah,
it looks like Prophet did actually sell his buckler as well as his headdress. He said, well, this is not going to work out. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, just sell these for half of the gold and pick up the next item, which is going to be a Necro 3. So definitely makes it tough for him. That's a big gold loss. That's like, what, 700 gold at least? Just from selling those items. I mean, maybe they would have been able to win the fight or the push. There's going to be a Shackle on 2 heroes. They're going in. Mega's going to die immediately here. He doesn't get to do anything. Oh my gosh, I love Vods also dead. And now Batrider chasing. He blinks away. More blinks against Demise, and he's going to have to sprout and TP, but that's it. Power shot on him, and Black, I don't think he's going to be able to get away from Black unless Batrider can do something. He uses Firefly as well. The rest of the heroes, 3 heroes dead at the moment. They're trying to run for their lives. Black waiting for Blink. He's going on the Prophet. Can he ulti in time? No, he doesn't actually. Prophet gets out, and now comes down to Batrider. Can you survive, Batrider? There's the one hit, and he blinks away. He wanted to really shut down that Blink for 3 seconds on TA, and who has a BKB, by the way. Wow.
I think perhaps the viewers should take a look at Enchantress right now because she's got a Mask of Madness. And this item it's actually very effective on her if you're chasing. If you're trying to run away, you're dying instantly. But if you're chasing, the move speed, the attack speed, with impetus, you just instantly melt the opponents. Well, it's looking good for mouz, but Black gets caught. Might go down 4,500 gold. Bad time to die. He may even be forced to buy back, which would be a real disaster for him. A lot of gold potentially down the drain. Enchantress, the Mask of Madness, will help her escape this time. TPing out on the high ground. Will they catch her? No vision, and she will escape just barely in time. I think you barreled out mid and try and force that AM buyback.
Yeah, they almost did get her though. I think he was in Firefly, so they did have high ground vision, but Rubik's TK was on cooldown, I think. So very, very close for Enchantress not getting killed. But yeah, it does work out. People have talked to me about this before. They said, yeah, Mask of Madness, and actually use it against anti-mages because impetus does pure damage. Therefore, if you just find the guy that you want to kill, you pop on the Mask of Madness, you throw out impetuses really, really rapidly. You should be able to score kills. Bambo out of position though. It's going to force Staff and use a Wind Run. There's actually no ulti from Batrider since it was used on the anti-mage who was out of position. And he's just trying to come from the other side. He just might be able to, but they want to fight this. And anti-mage has 16 seconds left. He's got 4k in the bank as well. So as he respawns, he may be able to pick up a Yasha or something like that.
They're trying to backstab here at the moment, and I think this is going to go pretty well. Bambo looking for demise. The wards were dropped defensively. The imps, look at Leshrac, just melts instantly, and now it's a headlong retreat. Shackle on 2. Oh, they are so royally screwed now.
Bambo trying to survive. He does get picked off. TA picks off the Rubik as well, chasing after demise now as Black wants more mana drain on Mig, and there's the Shackle. That looks really bad for Undyne. Anti-Mage blinks in and stops it, and they pick up everybody. 5 dead. Windrunner ends up dying, but pretty understandable considered how aggressive he was, and good game is called from GL. Awesome defense out of mouz this game.
Unbelievable. Really, for me, I think the MVP, at least in those defenses, it's got to be Bamboa, right? How many two-hero shackles did he hit? I want to say like 75-80% at least. And even when it wasn't leveled up in the early game in the top lane, he's hitting quite a few. Masterful defense by them. And honestly, let's be frank as well. Gamers League had an opportunity to get that Rex quite a few times. First on the bottom lane, then on the mid, and they made a few slip-ups along the way, but mouz, really, they're the ones who deserve most of the credit, just capitalizing and really punishing those blunders.
Yeah, they really did an awesome job defending those team fights. It's exactly what you need. 2 to 3 1 team fights when you're that far behind. And then it's just a short period of time until your carry potential kicks in and you are able to start swinging those team fights. So a couple less mistakes from Gamers League. Maybe they shouldn't have dove quite as far in their first push in, not make those mistakes on Nature's Prophet with item choices, and maybe they would have been able to take that first Rex and just really cement their advantage. But that's not what we saw there. mouz is going to take the win, Game 1 win against Gamers League, and we'll be back in just a sec, guys, with Game 2. Once again, my name is Purge, and I'm here with LD from Dota Commentaries, and we'll be bringing you guys Game 2 in just a second. Don't go anywhere.